get this show started. Welcome to the 2018 JR Awards. For those of you who don't know, which I'm going to assume is all of you, Jimmy, these are my personal picks for the 2018 Oscars. Now, I'm taking the list that the Oscars have posted on their website. I do this every year with my friends. We all just kind of pick what we want to win, not necessarily what we think will win. So I thought I'd just kind of do a fun little video about that. The choices I'm picking are entirely subjective. They're not very objective, and so don't really take this as face value as what I think will win in the Oscars tomorrow or tonight. I don't know, uploading this. Most of these are just kind of, hey, this would be kind of cool if it won. But the way I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to structure this exactly like the Oscars are structuring theirs. So the order that I present these awards in are actually the exact same order that the Oscars will be presenting theirs in, unless for some reason they change this last minute. This is how they've presented each award for the past 3 years. So let's get started with the 2018 JR Awards. Maybe I should put in jazz music. Copyright. Trademark. And let's start with the first award, which is Actor in a Supporting Role. And the winner is William Dafoe for The Florida Project. Alright, so I really loved William Dafoe's performance in the Florida Project. Maybe not his best performance ever. Every time his character was on screen, I was like, oh yes, we get to see this guy again. I really enjoyed his character in this. In fact, I would really recommend seeing the Florida Project, if not just for William Dafoe's performance. Again, this is entirely personal. I just thought it was really great. He probably won't win, but he did win the JR Award. Alright, next we have Makeup and Hairstyling. And the award goes to Darkest Hour. I didn't really like any of the other films in this category, to be honest. This isn't really a category I'm an expert in, but I don't really trust the Academy to do a great job of picking this either, because I think Suicide Squad won it last year, so I wouldn't take this choice at face value. Alright, and next is Costume Design. And the winner goes to The Shape of Water. Alright, I actually thought The Shape of Water's costume design was genius, and I don't know how they pulled it off, but especially the creature, his costume is not CGI at all, it's entirely practical. Props to them for doing that. I think they actually deserve this reward because they did a phenomenal job. Looking at you, Lewis. Shape of Water, good job. Alright, so now we're getting to one of those categories that I am not so knowledgeable in, so let's see who I chose for a documentary feature. And the winner goes to Faces, Places. I didn't see any of the documentaries in this category. I only picked this one because there's a dude named JR who can win this. So I'm going to represent the JRs out there and say that Faces, Places it wins the JR for Best Documentary Feature in 2018. There's nothing written here. Alright, let's go to Sound Editing. Now this was actually kind of hard, but the winner goes to Baby Driver. Baby Driver was such a fun film. The music in it was used to a great effect as a part of Baby's iPod playlists. I thought that was so clever, but again, the use of music in time with the cinematography, especially it's one of the second heists that happens, they play bell bottoms in the beginning, he just turns the camera and it's bell bottoms. I just love that. It was so much fun to watch. Now this one was actually pretty hard to pick as well, sound mixing, because Blade Runner 2049, Baby Driver, and Dunkirk were all nominated for this. So this was a pretty tough pick. The award goes to Dunkirk. All the other movies in this category did extremely well, but I think Dunkirk really stands out with just having these kind of visceral moments. Sound mixing was just used so well that I feel like I'm not watching a movie at that point. It just feels like I'm watching a live action documentary going on or something. It wins the JR for Best Sound Mixing. Actress in a Supporting Role. The award goes to Laurie Metcalf for Lady Bird. Alright, her character, I think, is incredibly hard to play. It's this kind of worried mother, which is nothing new, but I think just the context of it, in the early 2000s, I think she plays the role extremely well. And it's kind of touching how close the characters are, the mother-daughter relationship. Again, kind of like Dunkirk, it's played so well, it just doesn't feel like a movie to me. Kind of just blends in with the rest of everything. It feels just cohesive. I very much enjoyed her performance. And this was really hard because a lot of other great actresses gave outstanding performances in this category. You know, the Oscar could go to anyone, but I enjoyed Metcalf's performance the most. All right, foreign language film. I am extremely knowledgeable in foreign language films, which is to say I've watched 0 of them this year, which is why the award goes to A Fantastic Woman. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, I haven't seen this movie. I can't really talk about it. I've seen posters for it. It looks good, so because the poster looks cool, and it's a foreign language film, it wins the JR for Best 2018 Foreign Language Film. Animated short film. This is a pretty tough one because I've seen a lot of those today. And the award goes to Negative Space, because I read the premise of Negative Space as a short film, and it sounds really cool, but again, much like some of the other categories, I just haven't seen all the Oscar-nominated films. Negative Space's premise as a animation sounds interesting to me. That alone just makes it worth giving it the JR for Best 2018 Animated Short Film. Animated feature film. I am very excited to talk about this because the award goes to Loving Vincent. Loving Vincent is this hand-drawn animated movie that almost not always perfectly emulates, but does such an incredible job. Again, it's all hand-drawn, emulating Vincent van Gogh's impressionistic artistic style. A lot of other famous paintings he's done are used as scenes. They're used as opening shots, and then they kind of move into these kind of spaces that look like they were drawn by Van Gogh and were just turned into a movie, and you had voice acting. Like, I can't believe this movie was made. I think Coco will, to somewhat unfortunately, win this Oscar, which isn't bad because Coco was extremely well animated as well and a great movie. I think I'm kind of tired of Pixar winning every single time that they make a movie. It's hand-drawn by real people, and it looks so great. So it definitely wins the copywritten, trademarked JR Award 2018 Best Animated Film, Feature Film. All right, the award for production design goes to Dunkirk. Dunkirk's production design was extremely creative. Again, all of the costumes feel very authentic, all of the sets. And from what I understand, Nolan was able to, and his crew were able to get a hold of Russian World War II planes and then just kind of repaint them as British Air Force planes. And he just strapped an IMAX camera to these and was like, oh, let's just go. We're gonna fly around the sea and film this plane fight scene. Like what? Like, no one thinks like that. Like, another person would have thought like, oh, this is going to be a CGI plane and whatnot because it'll be easier to shoot. So I definitely commend Gary Fettis, I think that's how you pronounce it, and Nathan Crowley. You guys did a fantastic job with Dunkirk. Flowed in really nicely with the other aspects of the movie. All right, visual effects. The award goes to Blade Runner 2049. The visual effects were just stunning. Felt very natural in this futuristic noir world, and there are just some absolutely fantastic shots where all these kind of CGI elements blend in with natural, what just feels like natural environments. Blade Runner just blows it out of the water. All right, and the award for film editing goes to Dunkirk and Baby Driver. The reason for this tie is because I really couldn't decide which one I enjoyed more. If I had to pick one, I might say Dunkirk, but Baby Driver just does such a good job of flowing scenes together. It especially does well with like a shot that's zoomed in and then the camera pans and it's also still zoomed in, but it then like zooms out. Like, they're two different shots that just flow really nicely together. Again, with like music and cinematography, a lot of those aspects just feel so natural. I really think the film editing in Baby Driver highlights the story, and it really helps tell the story of Baby Driver with methodical and thought out editing. I don't think Baby Driver would be the film that it is. I still think it's a little long, which is why I think for me it would lose out to Dunkirk, because Dunkirk, everything just flows so well. Especially the use of time is so masterfully used, and like the ticking watch will come back in and you know something's about to happen, and then it just kind of stays there for a while and you're like, when is it gonna get there? And it finally happens. Like, everything is just so tense, and the editing really exacerbates this. The editing heightens the storytelling of Dunkirk, I think a little bit more than Baby Driver. Alright, here's a really important one, guys. It's documentary, short subject. And the award goes to Heroine, only because I haven't seen any of the short film documentaries, looked up the descriptions for all of them, and Heroine sounded the most interesting to me, so that's why it wins. Alright, and for live action short film, the award goes to The Silent Child. The Silent Child wins because I didn't see any of the other short films in this category, or any for that matter, and The Silent Child sounds interesting. I don't know, the title is also kind of ominous. I can relate. Hashtag I relate. Alright, here's one I'm actually excited about. Cinematography. The award goes to... I don't even have to look at this piece of paper. It's Blade Runner. It's Blade Runner 2049. The cinematography is so good in this. It's incredible. Robert A. Deakins, he has been nominated like 13 times or something, and he has never won an Oscar. Like, people are like, oh, Leo needs to win his Oscar, and he has won one now, but like, this dude has been up so many times, it's absurd. He needs to win. Not only does he deserve it because the cinematography was really great, he just has to win. Otherwise, I've already lost faith in the Academy to make the right decisions because Suicide Squad is an Academy Award-winning film now, that Robert A. Deakins just nailed it in this film. Again, no one really saw it, but it was still great. Alright, we're getting to the big boys. Original score, because the award goes to Dunkirk, or Christopher Nolan's like kind of pocket watch, taking throughout a lot of the movie. Never really lets up until the end, and I love this. You know, this music kind of builds up throughout the whole film, using the technique called a shepherd tone, which is kind of just a looping technique to make it almost like a auditory illusion, where it sounds like every note is getting higher, but it's just looping back, but it's looping so much that your mind is tricked into thinking that, oh shit, like the notes are getting higher, something's gonna happen. It's so tense, it's so like, oh god, like something's gonna happen, and I love that. Alright, original song. The award goes to Mystery of Love for Call Me By Your Name. I'm a huge fan of Sufjan Stevens because, one, we share the same last name, and two, because I legitimately enjoy his music. And not only that, but Call Me By Your Name used this song very well. It uses the tone of the song. It really fits the film, and especially in the moment it's used. You know, unlike other films that have a song made for them, it's just kind of using the commercials promotional material. However, this song is used far more creatively than any of those other movies. That surprised me. I didn't really expect that out of Call Me By Your Name. I was glad to be wrong. This is a biggie. Original screenplay. The winner is Lady Bird. Guys, for Greta Gerwig's debut as a screenwriter, this is pretty incredible. I'm a little biased because this is pretty much the film that I thought of making when I was in high school. I'm just so impressed by how Gerwig, debuting as a director, is able to do this. So I'm very pleased with this debut, and I could not be happier about it. Alright, for adapted screenplay, The Disaster Artist. Now, The Disaster Artist is an adaptation because it's an adaptation of the same book made by Greg Sestero. You guys have already known my thoughts about this. Again, I kind of wanted to go to Logan, but I know that's not going to happen because it's a kind of a comic book movie, so I don't think it'll win. But I think The Disaster Artist does do a little bit better in terms of adapting to a screenplay. Now, the next one is directing. And the winner is Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird. I've already shared my thoughts about this. Blows it out of the water. It's fantastic. You should just go watch Lady Bird. Actor in a leading role. The award goes to Daniel Kaluuya for Get Out, which was really hard to pick because I thought the star from Call Me By Your Name was fantastic, but I think Daniel just does such a great job of portraying this kind of character. This really traumatic is so incredibly hard to pull off, and I think he just does such a fantastic job. I think he deserves Best Actor for the JR Awards. This one's gonna get me in trouble. Actress in a leading role, and the award goes to Margot Robbie. This was really hard to pick. I thought Saoirse Ronan just did an amazing job in Lady Bird. Frances McDormand did such a great job in Three Billboards. The way that Margot Robbie plays I, Tanya is like this just absolute brutal, always honest character to a fault is just so wonderful to see, and I think it really ups the storytelling aspect and kind of makes you question what's kind of real in the story of I, Tonya and what isn't. I think the acting just plays such a huge role in that. All right, and the best picture this year is Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. This film was great.
No.
It had lots of...
No, that's wrong.
What?
It's not Three Billboards. It's Lady Bird.
This is not a joke?
Lady Bird wins Best Picture. This is not a joke.
Lady Bird wins Best Picture. You heard it here. Well, all right. Lady Bird won Best Picture. It definitely did. I really enjoyed Lady Bird. Again, I'm just kind of biased about it, but I thought it was so great. I really loved it. If you haven't seen it, you should go out into the theaters and see it. I'm sure they're already bringing it back into theaters because of the Oscars. They do that every year with the Oscar-winning movies. Go see Lady Bird. It's so good. But anyway, this has been the 2018 JR Awards. Tune in maybe next year if there are any. As always, my name is JR. I have long hair and I like movies. And I'll see you next time.
It's a close one. Squeaker!
All right, that's it.
That was funny.